Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name's Ali. I'm the head of enrolments here at Learning People. Got a really exciting agenda today, or this evening. So we want to jump straight into some key topics and talking points. The first one being industry demand and the skills shortage that already existed, but the gap that's got larger since COVID has taken place. But also what opportunities lie ahead as we move out of this pandemic, and what the job market is telling us, what employers are looking for, and also a big focus on software development. There's a massive demand for skill sets which currently aren't there, and that's where we come in. That's hopefully a role that you play in the future, guys. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about how we as a business support our students throughout their journey. And that comes down to career services. So we've got the lovely Robin, who's our head of career services here, who has supported many of our students into roles, into their first roles, whether it's during their journey with us or after becoming certified and going from a novice to an industry professional. But also it's really exciting. I'm very excited. You might see me grinning a few times today. But we've just launched our new Code Plus product. So we had a very premium product called our full stack developer course, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I know the guys are going to dive into it a little bit later on. But what's really important for us as a company is, how do we improve our student outcomes? What is it that students can do better, or how can we facilitate or help them get better? This is going to ultimately make their career choice one they never regret. Two, speed up the rate at which they learn, develop, but most importantly, land that first role. Because guys, learning a new skill is always a challenge, but also it can be fun. And I hold my hands up. I'm one person who used to be quite stereotypical, thought, coding, you have to be quite smart. You have to be, not saying I'm not smart, by the way, but you have to be a mathematical genius almost. And it's not. It's a very creative, very fun role, which opens up many opportunities and lots of doors that you would never known existed before. So for me, it's been a really exciting journey since joining the company just over 2 years ago, and I'm keen to share with the rest of the guys on the call on the webinar today more about that, and hopefully you're going to walk away with better insight into kind of who we are, what we do, the opportunities, and how your journey and success could unfold with the Learning People. But before I do that, before I hand over, I think it's best if some of you guys who don't already know about us, or haven't had a conversation with one of our consultants, learning more about us from Jono, who's been with the business, was it 7 years now, Jono?
Oh yeah, coming up to 8 years, I think. Yeah.
8 years, sorry, I'll remember that next time. And who can talk around kind of us, our services, and ultimately give you understanding and kind of trusting who we are and what we do. So John, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ali. Evening, everyone. Especially because today on the weather app down in Brighton, it's 15 degrees, which is the hottest day of the year. So we're having a mini heat wave. So appreciate you taking the time out. So yeah, been with the company, been with the Learning People for just coming up to 8 years, and it's been a really exciting journey to get to where we are, and it's only getting more and more exciting. My background into marketing was actually through coding. There's many different avenues to marketing, from social media to content writing, and web development is one of them. And I did a lot of freelance web development on the side whilst I was doing some digital marketing work, and it's really kind of aided my career. And I'm happy to say I've made some really good money from it as well. So that's just me. One way into digital marketing, but I prefer front-end coding over back-end coding, but what we're going to talk to you about today is kind of both of those disciplines. So a bit about the Learning People. We launched 11 years ago, just over 11 years ago. Our founder, Patrick Elmer, is our CEO. He's from a place called Orange in Australia. And he came over here. There was an opportunity to set up a digital education school, and here we are 11 years later. So we've got offices in Brighton, Robin's over in Dublin with our student care and career services team, and in Australia and New Zealand as well, in Sydney and Christchurch, and we're going to enter into other territories shortly soon. We also do some corporate stuff in France as well, which is exciting. So why have I been with the company for so long? I think I think the most important part for me is that I love my job because our success is based on our student outcomes and watching our students enter more fulfilling careers that they're passionate about, that they love, and ultimately they lead a better life from. And yes, it's my job to market our courses and make people aware of Learning People and who we are, but to see that journey right the way from if you haven't heard about the Learning People into jobs is it's a really wonderful thing to watch. So that's why I've been here 8 years, and I think that's that's why we do what we do. We aim to be thought leaders for the tech and project management sectors. We do that through a series of webinars and industry leading content and working with industry. And as Ali said, we're going to talk about kind of the industry post-COVID, which I think we can say post-COVID, we're on the way out, aren't we? Or there or thereabouts. And it's a really exciting time in the business this month, especially. Last week, it was announced that we won the award for Skillsoft Partner of the Year for EMEA. We'll talk about our unique learning platform, which is Percipio, a little later on. Percipio is Skillsoft's learning platform. And today is a super exciting day, so it's even more super exciting that you can join us, not because of the new Super League formation, but because we're launching Code Plus today. And I believe, and we all believe, and industry believe, it's the most compelling career-ready coding package on the market. We wanted to deliver our students something which they just couldn't get their hands on, and bring together what we are fortunate to have, which is industry, but we're partnered with the biggest accreditors in the world, so we can hand select the best courses for our students, not just from one provider, but from around the world. And that's what we've done with this. So I think, yeah, if we crack on, we've got a few slides to share with you. We've got some questions from you as well, and we'll talk about the industry and Code Plus too. So over to you, Ben.
Excellent. Hi there, everybody. My name is Ben. I am the Senior Coding Specialist here at Learning People, and I've been here for 9 years, if you can believe that. And I have to say, they treat us well, and I love what we do, so people tend to stick around. I think let's just jump into the slides there, and I'll talk more kind of as we go, because Code Plus for me, having done this for so long, Code Plus for me is the single biggest thing that we've done in the coding world. We partnered with an organization called the Code Institute about 5 years ago and started providing a course called Full Stack Web Development, simply because that is a course that we found to be the best, and we vetted as Jono says, we vetted lots of different organizations that could help us provide this kind of training, and no doubt about it, the Code Institute were the best. And what we've wanted to do.
Can you see the screen? I didn't know if you could see.
Yes,
yes,
we can.
Good.
Yeah. Yes, we definitely can.
Good.
And Code Plus for us is, as Jono says, it's the most compelling thing that we can do, because yes, it puts you on a path that's going to help you to achieve all of the major things along the way that you're going to need, which generally boil down to 3 things: having the right skills that employers are actually looking for, having a great qualification that employers will recognize and respect, and probably most importantly, having a great portfolio, something that you can put in front of employers. And all of these things are achieved in the Full Stack Web Development program, but we often come across people who are interested in learning more about a specific thing, whether it's a specific skill set or a discipline, or maybe an employer says to you, we'd really love it if you had skills in PHP, or any number of hundreds of other things, but you may not have that in the full stack course, but you'll have access to that through Code Plus. It provides you with this cloud around you of additional learning. You get an amazing app with it as well, where you can read books or watch videos. You can download them offline. So if you have a commute or you're traveling, you have access to all of these different things on the go all the time. So basically, and we will talk about this a little bit more, but basically it really is the very essence of the word Code Plus, because it's going to teach you to code, but so much more than that as well. Make sure you've got everything. I think this particular slide is valuable for us to add today, because if somebody's thinking, you know what, I really want to get into something that is in demand, that is recognized, that's going to give me lots of opportunities. Well, the senior director at LinkedIn says that the top 5 most in-demand professionals in the world are software engineers and developers. That is a pretty astounding comment to come from the director at a big organization like LinkedIn. So we wanted to add this today, and Johnny, we can talk through this in a bit more detail if you want, but we wanted to add this today because if anyone's thinking about where they want to go with their careers, they want to achieve, you know, XYZ with their life, work from home, be their own boss, travel, make loads of money, whatever's important to you, that's great. And then you might start thinking how best to achieve those things. Well, take it from LinkedIn. They're saying you should learn to code, basically. Do you add any more to that one, Jono?
I mean, if it's coming from LinkedIn, that's right up there. And this, this stat is taken kind of during the COVID pandemic, and it just shows that the web developers on the rise. It's interesting. So take it with a pinch of salt. That the least in demand professions are logistics, air traffic controllers. Well, we've seen aviation. It's just like the whole industry is it's just fallen to its knees. Yeah, and wood production operatives, which you wouldn't have picked that one, but it was.
I wouldn't have. Maritime workers as well. Okay. Why Code Plus? I feel like I did kind of just cover some of this, but we wanted to kind of put it in front of you as well anyways. And I would encourage any of you to reach out, get in touch with us, let us talk through how it's important to you, because one of the things that I think I struggled with a little bit today is that I could waffle on for hours about Code Plus, and I'm trying to keep it really concise because we've got half an hour to talk. But why Code Plus? So look, you're going to get a university credit rated diploma. We have found that this really, really helps when you're getting that first job. It becomes less important as you move through your career, for sure. As you know, as experience counts for more than anything else, as in most industries. But getting that first job, actually achieving that career change, a university credit rated qualification really, really helps. You're also going to be able to make use of our accelerated careers program. I know that Robin will be able to talk you through this in a bit more detail, but this is just incredible in terms of all of the different aspects of the job market, making sure that you've got the appropriate CV, covering letter, and I'm not going to steal Robin's thunder here or anything, your LinkedIn profile, anything, but she'll talk through that. But it makes sure you've got all of those things, because having the right skills, qualification, and portfolio, obviously very, very important. Having access to those additional skills and soft skills to actually get those first jobs and actually achieve them is a different thing. And Robin will talk you through that in a bit more detail. And in particular, you're going to have access to project management courses as well. Some of you may have heard of Prince 2. It's a pretty big deal in the IT world, in the world of project management in general. And the idea of adding something like this for us is that, as Ali was saying, we're always looking to improve student outcomes. And one of the best ways to do that is to give you things that other new coders won't have or don't have. And Prince 2 is absolutely going to be one of those things. Now, Prince 2 is often something that you might do just a little bit later, maybe a year or 2 or 3 into your career as you start progressing and becoming more comfortable with what you're doing. But we're going to give it to you right off the bat. We're also going to include the cost of the exams with Prince 2, which can be quite hefty as an introductory offer as we're rolling this out. But again, the point is to give you things that are going to put you at the top of the list, basically. So when employers are looking to take on new coders for whatever positions they might be, we want our students to be at the top of that list every time without fail. And again, Code Plus and everything that you get is a great way to do that. The other thing with Code Plus I do think is worth mentioning is that whilst it gives you access to so many more different skills that you might need along the way, what I find it incredibly useful for is as a reference library. So say, for instance, you're working your way through the main course and you learn a little bit about Python, for instance. It's a good pickup. So Python's a great coding language to learn for so many reasons. We teach it for back-end web development, but you can use Python for data science. You can use Python for cybersecurity, for artificial intelligence, for cryptocurrency, for so many different types of things. And my point is that if you covered that in the main course, well, that's great that you're going to move on. But if you wanted to learn more about that, well, you can. It's at your fingertips. You'll have access to that right away. But maybe it's not a full course that you want to learn. Maybe you just want to find out more about a particular subject. And one of the cool things about ELSA, which you'll learn about if you engage and speak with us, but ELSA is a Chrome plugin which while you're working your way through your training, you might do some research and you could highlight anything in your browser and it will give you the option to search that on our Percipio platform. So you can instantly find out if there is courses, books, videos, whatever it might be, right there on Percipio straight away. So you'll have access to that stuff too. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also a nifty app that allows you to watch videos or read books on the go as well. And you can even download those things if you're offline. I feel like I just barreled through all of that, but I really wanted to get all of those points across because it makes such a difference to the learning experience.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
That was brilliant, Ben. Just to let you guys know, while there is 10,000 hours of content available, you're not expected to get
don't do all of that. I mean, try by all means, but no, the idea is that you cherry pick the things that are important to you or what an employer might think is important.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to touch on soft skills as well, and why we wanted to include that and have included it, because it's one of the most essential, underrated set of skills for any standout candidate. And obviously, you know, I've got a team that I manage at the Learning People, and without the soft skills, it's very, very difficult to get past your interview stage and get a job. And it really is what makes you a rounded candidate. And these are some quotes that were just taken from Forbes, which really resonated with me. I don't want to be deaf by PowerPoint, but I'll read them out. Take advantage of every opportunity to practice your communication skills, that when the important occasions arise, you'll have the gift, the style, the sharpness, the clarity, and the emotions to affect other people. Soft skills get little respect, but they will make or break your career. It's a powerful quote.
Yeah.
And you can have brilliant ideas, but if you can't get them across, your ideas won't get you anywhere. And when you enter the world of software development, web development, it's all about ideas and problem solving and creativity. So that's a really important skill set to include.
Yeah.
Prince 2, do you want to carry on?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of covered this, but the Prince 2 it's a project management skill set and methodology that basically will put you in a position where you understand what your manager above you is doing. And in understanding, it kind of links in with soft skills as well. In understanding what your manager is doing and the way that they need to achieve certain projects, it's going to put you in a position where you can better communicate with your boss, but also that you have the skills necessary to be able to step into those positions just as soon as you are ready. It's a pretty big deal, actually. Like it says here, it is a game changer. So many people in the IT world will want to have this particular qualification, and others, other similar qualifications as you go. But this is a really, really great place to start, and it's just going to set you head and shoulders above any competition that you might be facing out there who have maybe learned to code, maybe have a portfolio, but they're not going to have anything like this. In my 9 years, I've never seen a one-stop shop, if you will, where you can get all of these things all under one roof. And Prince 2 is really going to set our students ahead of the bunch for sure.
I think there's typically maybe, you say a lot of web developers are introverts and like to sit in front of the computer and code. And, I've definitely been introverted in the way that I went about coding as well. But Prince 2, you have to, once you've learned the project management methodologies, you're learning to drive projects and your team to success, and that is what's going to get you up the pay scale, and into to the mid and upper ranged job roles. So a really exciting proposition.
The idea is that they move forward with their careers quicker than they otherwise would. We want to get back in touch with you guys in not 10 years from now, in just 3 years from now, and you're going to tell us you're earning 50 to 100k doing a job that you love. That's our goal. That's what we want to achieve.
So this might be one. This is at the Accelerated Career Program. Robin, you might want to talk about this.
Yes. So I'm one of the career services consultants, and I'll just kind of walk through the slide as a bit of an overview of what we would cover. And the main thing I suppose to tell you is that we tailor to the needs of each individual student. So you might be very quick at kind of applying the information to making your CV development focus, but might need to spend a bit longer on LinkedIn or interviews or networking or whatever the case may be. It is tailored to work for you, because there is no one size fits all in terms of trying to get that career progression and transferable skills over the line. So we provide bespoke career planning, specialist CV assistance, industry tips from recruitment experts. I myself have a background in software development recruitment before joining Learning People, so I am the person who you would be trying to attract. So I know exactly what you need to do to make yourself stand out and against the competition. And just to kind of circle back what Ben was talking about in terms of with the Prince 2 qualification, 100%. In my experience, you don't see junior developers with a Prince 2 qualification. You know, they tend to go for one or the other. And something that hasn't been mentioned is that all development work are projects.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's giving you incredible context before you even go in. And it will allow your employer to go, okay, well, he or she has an understanding of what about project requirements and meeting deadlines and scope and things like that as well. So you're already a leg ahead and will need less training in that area as well. So it's a huge plus. Interview hacks and tips and tricks and things like that. I have experience prepping candidates and debriefing candidates for technical interviews, which I know can be the really scary part of it. So I can tell you about how you can kind of approach that, manage that, and to do the effective research for it. You'll have one-to-one soft skills training as well, one-to-one sessions with a career advisor, like all depending again on what you need and what you require. We work with students one-to-one. I have people that I have weekly calls with. I have people that we've bi-weekly. There are certain people when you have an interview, bang, we have to do a mock interview. We have to do interview prep. It has to be accommodated immediately because that's a priority, right? So it is completely in line with where you're at in your journey, and we go as fast or as slow as you need to. And a 4-step strategic program. We have 3 phases to career services. So I think that there might be a little bit of an error there. And then personal development tip. Again, it comes back to the tailoring for what you need specifically.
That's a typo.
Oh,
That's
Jono.
okay. That's okay. We'll forgive you this time, Jono.
Thanks. Cool. And then on to the next slide. So Ben, over to you.
So yeah, this is one that we wanted to include because there's so much out there. And if any of you have done some research, and I hope that you will, if you haven't, then you'll find that it's a little bit of a minefield out there. If you're looking for a career in coding or a course in coding, then 99% of what's out there, unfortunately, is just sales companies. You can usually tell because they'll make you an offer like enroll by Friday, get X, or whatever it might be. And obviously they have an agenda. But when it comes to really good coding schools, here's some of the best that are out there, or the best ranked at least. The training that we provide predominantly is through the Code Institute, one of our major partners. And as Jono was saying earlier, we have the opportunity and honestly the privilege, but we're lucky that we can cherry pick all of the best stuff from all around the world and put something really special together for our students. But even though what we offer is quite superior to anything else out there, we're still the most affordable, or among the most affordable. So the major points is that we are the only ones that will provide the university credit rated diploma, which is equivalent to an HND level 5 or foundation degree on the EQF, the European Qualification Framework. It's flexible learning as well, where, as you can see, not all of them are like that. Flexible learning in the sense that this is going to fit around you, your life, your career, whatever you've got going on, your family and whatnot. You can pick this up and put it down as and when you need to. So it's super convenient. With that, of course, there has to be great support, and you'll have that, the student community, the tutors that are available Monday to Friday and on Saturdays, the mentors. You'll get your own mentor who'll help you build out your project work, all of these amazing things. So yes, it is self-study, but it's very well supported. That is by necessity. Yet, since we provide all of these things, great curriculum, great skills that employers are looking for, great qualification, great career support, the tuition fee is $6,500. So we're very happy with that price point. Yeah, look, you could go direct, of course. They're our partners, our friends over there. You'd be fine with either. The difference is that with us, you get the Code Plus package, and it doesn't cost you a penny more. And all of the things that we've mentioned so far on this webinar will be included in Code Plus. And like I said, it doesn't cost you a penny more. So I think I've pretty much summed that one up. I'd very happily take any questions about it, but I think that's pretty much it. It's there plain as day.
Yeah, I think the only other piece is an introductory offer. We wanted to offer something even more compelling as well. And obviously we've got the Printer 2 training included, but we'll also include the actual exam in that, which costs several £100s alone as well. So as a launch offering for everybody attending the webinar, that's something that we'd like to do. So nice. Yeah, and then so I think we'll have, sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's right, be gone.
It was just a roundup of obviously what Ben has discussed and what's included. So we've got university accredited diploma, we've got your project management and soft skills training. We've got the accelerated career services. It's the only boot camp in the world to offer the Code Institute diploma in software development alongside the Percipio app and ELSA, where you've got hundreds of hours and thousands of resources to learn more coding skills, and then the ACP program, which we've discussed. So shall we get stuck into some questions?
Yeah, what do we get?
So these were just submitted on the form and people were registering for the webinar. Multiple people obviously asked how much does it cost, which we've covered that. The SAS and Glebe both ask how much time does it take, and what if they don't have enough time?
So there's different courses that you could do. We recommend the full stack course, which is part of Code Plus, because it's like one pathway. It's going to get you everything you need and then some. So the commitment's going to need to be somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 hours a week. If you think you can commit to that, then great. This would be suitable for you. If that's going to be a problem, there's some other things that we could talk about, but it's worth exploring with a consultant first to see if you think that's going to be doable for you. Because you've got 12 months to complete the course. You have 15 months access to Code Plus, so an additional 3 months after you complete the course as well. I have to say, it's not usually an issue. You're set up with, when you first get enrolled, you're set up with a study plan, which kind of keeps you on track throughout. And there's touch points every week or two along the way, unless you can contact us as well. So it usually isn't an issue, but by all means, let's get in touch with us and we can talk about how that might look for you specifically.
Great. Lester says there are other education providers that offer job guarantees, and I'm unsure if it's too good to be true.
That's a great question, which I could literally waffle on about.
Robin shaking her head.
Yeah.
So I'll try and keep it brief because I know we are a little pressed for time, but there's no such thing as a job guarantee. And anywhere that there is, every single one that I've seen in the last 9 years there's a catch somehow. So they say, money back guarantee, for instance. Well, you have to finish the course for that guarantee to be in place, and they know the course is so bad you're probably not going to finish it. Or they offer you a job that is in another country, and they fulfilled their end of the bargain. If you're going to turn it down, that's on you. Or they'll sign you up. This is one of the worst ones, actually. They'll sign you up to a minimum wage contract for 3 years while they subcontract you out, earning £400 a day off of your new skill set. So my point is, there's no such thing as a job guarantee, and you don't need one. That if you've got the right skills, the right qualification, a portfolio to speak of, the soft skills and the confidence to show up to an interview and to say, hi, my name is Ben, and look, here's what I can do, then you're going to be absolutely fine. And either way, Robin will work with you until you get that first job.
Yeah, we work with students until you achieve that job. So there's no leaving you hanging once the course ends or anything like that, which in my opinion goes an awful lot, is a much bigger dedication than a job guarantee. I will stick and I will make sure it happens for you,
Good. Awesome. Thank you, Robin.
I did actually want to raise a good question from one of us. Well, we just actually enrolled this gentleman who's actually on the webinar this evening. So thank you for joining us again. Yes, congratulations. The question I had last week was, why now? Which is a question that we get asked quite often. And Ben, Robin, I think you guys are both best positioned to answer this one. Our conversation turned to a quick 10-minute catch-up upon acceptance of enrolment onto the course into a 50-minute conversation. So in 1 minute, guys, if you could between you answer that question, that would be fantastic.
So in 30 seconds, why now is very, very simple. There's never been a bigger demand for coders, and the gap between trained coders and the amount of jobs available is widening every single year without fail. We're simply not training enough coders. And on top of that, COVID has actually increased demand for coders as companies are scrambling to improve their online presence, their internet, so their websites, their internal technologies, all great ways to make sure that you kind of holster down and survive the oncoming recession. But for all of those things, you need coders. So that's why now it's never been a better time now.
Yeah, Ben is absolutely right. Like, I was recruiting for software developers when the pandemic hit, March and April. My job did not slow down. It just which clients were hiring. My aviation clients nosedived. Whereas anything that is technology based or like that, so many services have been created as a response to the pandemic or as a result of the pandemic. Now, that was a year ago, right? And it has been flourishing ever since. And in general, hiring is uptaking, things are moving, but there will never not be a need for software engineering. So capitalize on it and get in now before, like, if you're going to wait 5 or 10 years, the market will be saturated because people realize the absolute definitive need long term for software engineers.
I said exactly the same thing, by the way.
We rehearsed this before.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Jono?
Yeah, there's a couple more questions. We're just running slightly over, and everyone needs their evening back. This one's from Anna. I can find cheaper courses online, and especially on YouTube. So why should I do a paid-for course?
That's a great question. So I would say that in all my years of doing this, that cheap or free courses, they just don't seem to get the job done because they're always missing some of those vital components. As I mentioned earlier, the skills that employers are actually looking for. I put a lot of emphasis on this because it's actually rarely the case that courses are teaching people the specific things that they're going to need. The way that we guarantee that is with our industry advisory council, big names like Microsoft and Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, Netflix, there's hundreds of them. But all of these companies, they tell us what you guys need right now, and then we put it in the courses. So I think that's the difference basically. If you're looking at YouTube, you can learn great stuff on there. If you're looking at, I mean, there's so many other ways that you can learn this stuff for free, but it's never to a sufficient level. You never get a qualification. It's never well structured. It's never well supported, and that really is the difference. I could in all my years, I could name the people on one hand that managed to do this for free or with cheap training. And actually, I'd go as far as to say that one of the major issues is that when you do cheap training, like maybe you do a coding course for £1,000 or something. Well, if it doesn't get you what you need, you didn't save money, you wasted £1,000. You know, so we're talking about your life, your career. You know, you don't go for cheap or free courses, you go for the best, because that's what's going to give you every opportunity to succeed moving forward.
Brilliant.
If I could add to that, just in my own recruiting experience, so I was recruiting in Dublin, and Code Institute are in Dublin, and they're a very well-known name in Dublin. They've often supplied graduates to Google, to Facebook, and things like that. And that's, you know, it's also covered in the Code Plus or the Code Institute full stack developer package. For me, I could not present a self-taught junior to a client, right? But I could present juniors from Code Institute because that reputation was understood. It was clear that they definitely weren't going to have massive gaps in their knowledge or in their skills, abilities. So immediately that would stop the kind of the pushback from a client if the graduate was from Code Institute. So you're getting an accredited diploma. You're also getting a very, very well established and well respected name, in addition to absolutely, you know, for a fact there are no gaps in your training. You know, I'm not sure you can put too much of a price on that, or like, what's the difference? Like you said, you're losing money if you're not investing that.
Yeah, I think the cost to value as well, it's a drop in the ocean, isn't it? Like I don't know any full stack web developer who's got, you know, 3, 4, 5 years of experience earning 50 to 100 grand every year for the rest of their life that's going to be upset that they spent £6,500 on what was necessary to achieve it. Like, really think about it, guys, you know.
I'm really conscious of time, so if we've got 60 seconds just to answer the last question, and then we'll close this session down. It's a question that gets asked a lot, and it came from Michael specifically. He says, "What is the chance for a 40-year-old to get a job after this course?" And I guess that alludes to, am I too old to learn how to code?
Yeah, this comes up all the time, and I have to say there isn't much correlation these days. A little for sure, but not much correlation based on like demographics on who's getting jobs versus who isn't, based on age, race, gender, sexuality, or otherwise. Those sorts of things are absolutely kind of they're not even thought of really these days. What it really boils down to is, do you have the right skills, the right attitude, good portfolio? And actually, maybe in some cases, I'd say actually, a lot of employers are looking for more senior employees. So and actually, to add to that even more, many of our students are in their 40s and in their 50s, and some even in their early 60s, looking to pick up a skill that allows them to work from home or work remotely or part-time or whatever it might be. So I would say you're only 40, and you need to get that out of your head, because if you spend 6 to 12 months gaining the necessary skills and qualifications, I know Robin would be delighted to help you get your first job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The age thing doesn't matter. It really doesn't. That goes for everybody on this call, whether you're 18 or 45 or 52, like it doesn't bear any weight anymore.
Absolutely. And the last thing, guys, we'll finish up with is, the students we enroll, 90% of them are career changers with little to no background, starting from, novice to professional. One of the things that we do very, very well here is, we don't enroll anyone who wants to enroll in the course because they see a quick route to a career in coding, for example. We've got a prerequisite coding assessment, which enables our prospective students to get some access to some code, get a feel and sense of what it is like to problem solve as a coder. We assess, we test, we look at your capability in terms of, as I said, problem solving, but your creative side as well. And ultimately, again, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong here, you're speaking to more students than I am, but I'd say 7 out of 10 of our students actually come away saying they enjoyed it.
Most of them love it,
albeit being a challenge, right? And that's a kind of prerequisite for us to make sure that you're suited to a potential career in coding, but also we're doing the responsible thing by agreeing as a team, if you like, that we're happy and we're confident that we're going to put you on a pathway to success, because that's the ultimate goal here, right? Not to get a certification and spend 12 months having some fun, but to get some certification, have 12 months having some fun, but also start a very long, enjoyable, fun career that's going to open up so many doors and opportunities. So I'll close up that one, and I'll let you finish up.
Yeah, the prerequisite coding assessment, most people really enjoy, and if nothing else, I'd say let us get you on that. It's good fun, and it's going to tell you quite categorically if this is the right path for you or not. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us on this sunny evening. Please do get in touch. We'd be happy to talk with any of you. You can see my contact details on the screen right now. Go ahead and get in touch. Call me, email me, let me know if you have any other additional questions, and I'll be happy to talk you through how it might look and work for you specifically.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.